Welcome to the LivOverjoyed Show. I'm your host, Amy DeLeon, and this show is designed to help you navigate life and business to take positive action to live your dreams. This series focuses on how to leave your unsatisfying job to pursue your passions. Today, I'm excited to have Dian Forster with us. She is a coach and mentor of mine, an award-winning inventor, best-selling author, TEDx speaker, TV show host, podcaster, intentional living expert, and Re-Invention Specialist. She works with clients privately and in groups and helps you clear away any mindset blocks and limiting beliefs that can get in the way of you reaching your full potential in business, life, and relationships. Welcome, Diane.
Hi, Amy. How are you? So good to see you.
Good to see you too. I'm really excited that you're going to talk about how to discover your passion and purpose so you can live intentionally.
Well, I'm excited to be here and share that with you and the audience as well. It's great.
So, what are the first steps?
So, if you feel like you're sort of robotically moving through your life and you're not really jumping out of your bed every day excited about your life, then you're definitely not living, on purpose with passion, right? So that's a red flag. So that's always the first place to start. Ask yourself that question. Am I waking up every day excited about the day in front of me? Because if you're not, then you need to create awareness around that and start asking yourself the questions. So I say it's the ABCs. Awareness begets change. If you're not aware that something's happening, then how can you possibly change it? And so we get in this robotic state. We're told, we have all these limiting beliefs of like, you should go to college, you should get a degree, you should get a job, you should have a 401k, many of us have, right? So anyway, there's all these limiting beliefs and programming in our minds. And right now, especially with what we're dealing with, the interesting time is what I'm calling it, what's happening with the world, is there has never been a better time to go within and ask yourself, am I really happy? Am I really living on purpose with joy and fulfillment in my life? Am I doing what I love and loving what I do? Am I going through my day and time loses all meaning? Remember when you were a kid and you were, involved, or even as an adult, when you're doing something that you love, time loses all meaning, right? So if you want to discover what your passion and purpose is, start right there. Check in with yourself. See if you are living on passion with purpose. And then if the answer is no, then it goes to another series of questions. And can you see them asking a lot of questions? So we're not asking ourselves enough questions, and we're not asking ourselves the right questions. And I'm going to give you a tool. I'm going to offer it to the viewers that will really help you get clarity around what's really true for you, and how to live intentionally, how to stay focused, what brings meaning into your life, what are you passionate about, and how much are you living that? So the key really, Amy, is to be asking yourself questions. So if I'm working with a client, the very first thing I say to them is, what do you want? They typically know what they don't want. I don't want to be in debt anymore, or I don't want to be alone anymore, or I don't want to work in this career anymore, or I don't want to carry this weight anymore, or whatever they don't want. But they haven't taken the time to get really clear on what it is they do want. So I'll pull it out of them with all of these questions. And literally in a strategy session, I can take it all and kind of pull it all together, where it's literally been right here in front of them. They just couldn't see it because they're not aware. They don't have the awareness. So that would be where I would start, is to start asking those questions. And when I give the audience the gift at the end, I'm going to highly encourage you to invest in this very small amount of money, $10, to figure it out. And is it okay if I talk about it now?
Yeah, please do.
We're kind of jumping all over.
Yep.
Okay, so it's called your 10 Days to Your Passion and Purpose program. And so for 10 days, you get 10 videos, 10 lessons, 10 journal exercises. for $10, for $1 a day, where you can get really clear on it. And I ask you all those really important key questions that you need to be asking yourself. And so by the end of that 10 days, you're going to have a really clear idea of what it is you want, why it is you want it, and then how to have it. And it's helped so many people get clear. They've changed jobs, they've gotten out of relationships, they moved closer to family, they've done so many things because they realize I'm not living with enough passion and purpose in my life. I'm really not living the way I'm intended to be living. I just know it, that I'm not doing it. So it is great program to invest the time and energy in. Really super, super amazing. Yeah.
Well, it's awesome because I think a lot of people aren't asking the questions of themselves and they just feel that they're stuck and they can't find a way out. And I guess, what does one do just to even take a step back and reflect to ask these kind of questions?
Well, I think I said it at the beginning, ask, if you're not jumping out of your bed, excited about the day, think about how much time you're spending during your day frustrated, angry, bored, any negative emotions, versus happy, joyful, fulfilled, content. These are positive words. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the work I do focused on the law of attraction piece of it is focused around language. We are 100% attracting into our lives everything that's showing up. All the good, all the bad, whatever it is, based on the way we're thinking, which creates the way we're feeling, which creates the way we're communicating, which creates our manifestations and our outcomes. So think about that. It's turning, honestly, it's really taking a good hard look in the mirror and being real with yourself. There's nothing wrong with you. I call it perfectly imperfect, but if you're feeling negative emotions in your life, then you need to create the awareness and you need to look within, because it's not outside of you. It's all 100% within you. And I learned this the hard way. I'm doing what I'm doing because I went through, working in a career at ABC that was great. It paid me a lot of money, but it wasn't filling my passion. I wasn't passionate about it. I was in a very unhappy marriage, but to the outside world, it looked like, we had this great, amazing life, but it was very lonely and debilitating on the inside. And things just kept piling up and I kept ignoring all of these signs and it almost took me out. And so my suicide attempt was my wake-up call, and I got the help I needed and it turned everything around. And so in that process is when I discovered how important my language was. So I have a 6-part video training on this top 6 words you need to remove from your vocabulary and how, what to replace them with. And I have consciously removed certain words from my vocabulary. I just would never say them anymore. I just don't choose to have that in my life, which is so fun, amazing, because that's how powerful we are. We can all do that. If I don't say the current disease that's going on around here, it's not even in my sphere. It's not even in my sphere. Now, that's not to say that I'm not sending love and light and healing energy to all those out there, but knowing the power of language and words, being intentional in your life, living it intentionally, knowing, don't sit around and wait for, things to change, like the vaccine to come, or, wait and see what happens over here. Don't live in a wait and see mindset and mentality. Be the creator of your life, because you are the creator of your life and you're the one who gets to decide how you want to live and how you want to feel. And especially with what's going on right now, there's a huge sector of the population which will get set back 10 years easily because of this. And then there's this other sector that's going to, catapult their success by 10 years because they're seeing this as an opportunity. This is an opportunity. So right now is your opportunity to pivot and make the changes and ask yourself those questions, create the awareness. How happy and fulfilled am I? How much am I living in my passion and purpose? Because if I'm not, now is the moment. Today is the day I get a chance to make a change in my life and pivot and turn that around.
Yeah, that's very powerful that you have that power to live intentionally. And I think a lot of that is what you talked about with your mindset and most importantly, your language as well.
Yes, yes, yes. So one of the words that I never say, I mean, I'm saying it right here, is stress.
Yeah.
Got that word right out. That's one of the stress, worry. Here, I'll just give you the 6. Worry, doubt, fear, trepidation, anxiety, and stress. And then I teach you the 6 words to replace them with, how to pivot those emotions. But what would your life be like without those things? Be amazing, right? And so, I mean, I could go on and on. I could talk about this all day long. This is my wheelhouse. This is what I do. So
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. We could all use a life that's less stressful and less anxious, especially now.
Yeah. Yes.
Now, part of living intentionally is also finding out your why. And you talked a little bit about that, finding your passions and what really drives you. So how do you go about discovering what that is?
Well, your why ties into, well, let me share mine, because this will maybe spark some people to realize, do I know my why? I actually have 2 whys. My why is to see that 1 billion women who don't know their self-worth discover their true divinity, power, and purpose. And the reason that is because, first of all, it was guided to me and given to me, and that's how I was living when I discovered what was happening to me. It was, the reason was, I didn't love myself. Truly, I didn't value myself. I didn't think I was worthy of the things that I wanted. And so I know how many women out there are feeling that same way, and women are so powerful. And this isn't to discount the guys at all. I serve men as well, but I really focus on women. So if 1 billion women were feeling true unconditional self-love for themselves and knew their worth and their value and operated in their lives from that perspective, man, this would be an amazing planet. So that's the big why in terms of what the mission is on one side. And then my other why is my children, my twins. And they are my why for 2 reasons. First of all, I was told I could never have children. And so I proved my doctor wrong. I just said, that's not an option. I will have children. There's got to be another way. So replacing my doubt with determination, and I moved through my life and operated determined to be a mother. Just didn't let doubt anywhere in the vicinity, right? So 15 months after he told me that, my amazing boy-girl twins were born. So that why is, don't let anybody ever tell you what you can and can't do. They are just basing it on their limited experience and their beliefs. You get to decide what it is. And they're also my why because they're watching everything that I do. And when they graduated high school, their last day of high school was my last day at ABC. I quit my job. I sold my house. I got them off to college, and I moved from Chicago to San Diego to reinvent my life and create I have today and doing what I'm doing. And I got a lot of flack from people like, how could you sell your house? Your kid's barely off to college. Who does that? That kind of stuff. But what I taught my children is, your dreams matter most. You come first. If I would have stayed back there, it would have been for them and it wouldn't have been for me. And I would have taught them to put other needs above their own. Now, that's not to say don't be in service. Of course, be in service. But your happiness is your number one responsibility. It's not up to somebody else to do it. You got to create it on your own. So those were my 2 whys. So where I'm really determined, nobody tells me what I can and can't do, and I'm going to put my happiness first. It has to come first. So, for you with your why, it's living in a way that if this were your last today, if this were your last day on the planet, that you would feel good about you and everyone else, and everyone else. That's a great, great starting point. You know, if you want, you know, if your why has to do with superficial things like money or fame or, you know, materialistic things, you're never going to feel satisfied. I'll tell you right now. Your why has to be something that when you talk about it, like you hear how passionate I am, like this is so heart-centered in me. It's such a piece of who I am. When you're talking about it, your heart is lit up. It's warm, it's big. You can feel the expansion of what it's coming from. And if you don't know what that is, it's okay to, you know, it's okay to try things and quit on them and start over. You know, there's so many things in my reinvention, things that worked and things that didn't. And you got to not be afraid to fail, although I don't use that word fail. You got to be afraid not to do something or make a mistake, because there are no mistakes. Everything's a lesson along the way. You got to be able to, this is how we learn. We learn from what doesn't work to figure out what does work. But I take women all the time. I have one of my clients is, she's a speaker, a leader, a trainer, and she also loves baking pies. You know, she was doing that on the side. Well, I turned that into a business for her. I helped her turn that into a business. And so now she has a Pie of the Month subscription club where she loves baking pie. She's turned it into cookies and cakes and all of these other things. And her heart and soul are so fulfilled every day. She's still doing the speaking and training and still loves that. But you need to be able to take all the facets of the diamond that you are and turn it into everything you do. I love to cook too. I invented a kitchen product, right? I see myself, in addition to having I Have Today, also having a fun TV show around cooking and dining with women, you know, dinner with Diane. I see the whole thing, right? Just taking the things that you love and doing them and not worrying about, you know, where's the money coming from. When you're an authentic version of yourself, you're expressing yourself authentically, people are just drawn to you, totally drawn to you. So figure out what that why is for you. You know, this were my last day, and would I be good with everything? Like, would I feel like I've lived a fulfilled life so far? You know, whatever age you are.
It's really good advice.
Yes.
So it's tackle your bucket list now.
Oh, what's on my bucket list now? Oh my gosh. It's so long, it's so big. So let me just give you a few things. Clearly I'm an overachiever, and we know each other, Amy, so you know this about me. The bucket list of things that I want to do in terms of personally, at some point, I definitely want to get married again at some point. Not right now, but it's something that's down the road. I want a blended family. I want somebody who has kids, you know. I'm renting right now in an apartment. I wanted to rent. I've been here now 5 years because I kind of wanted to see where I wanted to settle. But now I think I'm close to deciding that this is where I want to settle, the town I'm in, the area I'm in. And so I'd like to get a home and another dog someday, you know, and do those things. So those are sort of travel, of course. I want to go to London, Paris, Greece. Like I've got a whole list of places I want to go. I want to ride in a hot air balloon. You know, I want to learn how to surf. I'm calling this my year of radical changes. So I've done a lot of things already that I stopped drinking alcohol. I gave up coffee. I gave up sugar.
Wow.
I'm doing intermittent fasting. I'm drinking celery juice. I'm working out every day, and I'm doing mindset work to heal the body and change my body. So I'm doing a lot of things based on health and wellness. And then I'm doing other things. I learned how to speed read. I'm reading at least a book a week. I started running, so different things that I'm on a bucket list, like it's just so big, so that's like immediately what I'm doing. So in this year of radical change, so many things have shifted because of it. But yeah, and we just launched the TV show on E360 TV. So now I'm doing a live weekly TV show every Monday at 11. I think you were there last week. Thank you.
Yeah, and it's great.
Oh, thanks. So that is step one in the expansion of building the I Have Today network. So just a lot of things. And what I teach women, and I teach people in general, is to dream really big, because it is easier to soar than it is to crawl. It is. When we're stuck in small mind thinking, we're making small minded action and we're getting small minded results. But when you think much bigger, it actually flows a whole lot easier. It's phenomenal the way it works. So I encourage everyone, dream big.
Well, and that also ties in with your self-worth. You can dream big because you're worth it and you can achieve those things.
Right,
so,
right.
Yeah.
You're no different than anybody else. You know, you could see Beyonce or J-Lo or whomever and think, oh, I can never be like them. No, you absolutely can. You can be, do, and have anything. You truly can. They work their tails off, by the way. They always have, they always will. You know, that's the kind of women that they are, you know, and that's beautiful and glorious, but the fame is like this much of it. All the rest of it is the behind the scenes, the hard work. And so, you know, when you look at somebody like that, why do you want that? Not saying that you don't. You got to really be clear on your why. Why do you want that? Because you got to be true and authentic to what's right for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Very powerful.
Thanks. Thank you.
And I always love your mantras and
yeah. So you want me to?
yeah, that would
so
be
how much time do we have?
We have some time, so feel free to share.
Oh, okay. Why don't I just share a little bit with the audience about who I am and what I do? All right.
Yeah.
So I'll just give you a quick snapshot of my story, because we went right into the content. So this will give you a little background information. So I worked in advertising and television sales for 32 years, 8 years in LA in the ad business before moving to Chicago and switched to television sales. And I worked at Disney ABC for the last 20 of my career, which was amazing. I've sold over $100 million in advertising. You know, it was a great career for me. But like I said earlier, it got to the point where I didn't have passion for it anymore. But while I was working at ABC, I came up with an idea for a kitchen product back on Easter Sunday in 2009. And I was making deviled eggs, and I went to put paprika on them, and too much spice came out of the container and ruined my dish in 1 second. And I thought, oh God, if there was just a sifting spoon with a long handle and a tap, you know, a little bowl and a tapping edge where you can just put the spoon in the spice container and tap the spice where you want it to go, how cool would that be? So I set me down this quest to find this product that I could see in my mind, and I couldn't find it. And this voice told me, well, you need to create it, Diane. So I was out to dinner with friends a couple of weeks later, and I shared the idea with them. I said, do you know anyone in this space? And they did. And he became my mentor, and he tried to talk me out of it. And I just said, my mantra was, I just want to see where this goes. And so one thing led to another, and I just followed the steps, not knowing what I was doing, just, you know, eating this elephant one bite at a time. And it ended up winning me an innovation award at the International Housewares Show in Chicago, and landing me on QVC, where we sold out in 6 minutes. And this extraordinary experience happened. Now, let me backtrack and say there was a lot of work in there, a lot of work, a lot of pain, but a lot of, you know, success and glory as well. And so that opened my eyes to entrepreneurship. And then the creation of I Have Today was my personal journey, where I, you know, was living in an unhappy marriage, like I shared earlier. And it was a secret I kept hidden. I didn't let anyone know how unhappy I really was. And it just kept eating away at me. And I stayed in that marriage way too long. It was 20 years. And I attempted suicide one night in June of 2011. It was just, you know, it wasn't premeditated. I just had a breaking, snapping moment. And that was the catapult to get me out of my depression and the spiral down, and into personal development, self-help, spiritual awakening. And I started healing in this really profound way. And with that, I started implementing all of these processes. I started meditating, I started journaling, I started writing like crazy. I started, my intuitive gifts opened up like exponentially. And so I was creating like crazy and writing like crazy, and more inventions and more fun, crazy stuff. And so 2 years after my bathroom moment, I woke up with a poem in my head called I Have Today. And when I finished writing it, I looked down in it, and I'd written so many other poems and stories, but this one was different. And I said, this is way more than a poem. This is a movement. This is what God was talking about in the bathroom 2 years ago. I am supposed to help other women who don't know their self-worth discover their true divinity, power, and purpose. Because if I was living in this quiet hell, how many other people are living like this too? So the idea for the company was born that day. And so 2 years after that was when I had my reinvention. I kind of had an idea. I knew I wanted to write a book. I knew I wanted to be a speaker. I knew I wanted to coach. I knew I wanted to help women reinvent like I was reinventing, and heal and fall in love with themselves. Because that's what happened for me. All of a sudden, I really started setting, in my book, I talk all about the 3-step process of love it, thank it, bring it. And I really, how to be living, bringing it, and, how to set healthy boundaries, how to communicate without getting emotional, how to really live in passion and purpose. And so much started happening for me. And then with the reinvention and the mantra of, I just want to see where this goes, because that was my mantra for the Swifter. I said, well, I'm going to use that with this, because look where that took me. Let's see where this takes me. And it's been extraordinary. I've amazing TV show. We're well over 100 episodes. We're only 2 episodes into the new live platform, but I've done 2 years of 100 shows, amazing guests, amazing content, all around mindset and manifestation and intentional living and empowerment, really empowering you to live the I Have Today way, which is intentionally with passion and purpose. And so it's just been extraordinary. And now we have, I listed the bucket list, but we're doing a lot of things. I'm moving away from private coaching and only doing group coaching. So we are literally just launched our group mastermind coaching program. It's called the Have It All Life Mastermind Program. And I'm planning a 3-day virtual event called the Have It All Life to teach you, the core principles on how to figure out, what it is you want in the 8 key areas of your life, and then the 8 principles to get you there. It doesn't matter what it is. So I'll stay in touch with you. You can share it with your community once it's solidified. We don't even have that site up for it yet. So it's a little preliminary, but there's just, when you're doing what you love and you're loving what you do, this doesn't feel like work. My assistant and I were in the studio yesterday, and we were recording all the video ads and the webinar and so many things to promote this. And you're just in your zone and you're clicking. So that's my wish for every person on this planet, that they feel that way. Don't do the comparisonitis of what everyone else is doing, or like, I want to be like Amy. No, you need to be like you. You need to be the greatest version of yourself. That is what you're here to do. You tap into figuring out why I'm here. What is it that I came to do? And that thing might be that you are an esthetician, or you're a mom, or you're a high-powered attorney, or you're a speaker or coach. Whatever that thing is for you, just feel good about it and do it 100% authentically. Be in a place of, unconditional love of self, and no comparisonitis of what anybody else is doing.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because, we can kind of beat ourselves up when we say, oh, look at all that they're doing. But you're certainly leading by example on how you can take those ideas and really take off. I'm sure your I Have Today has exceeded what you initially thought it would be.
Oh yeah, with so much more to come. And I have, I'm a big thinker. So you always want to be making decisions from where you want to be, from not where you are.
Yeah.
So I have a book, a binder, and it's filled with all the ideas, all the programming, all the content, everything I've been building for this business over the past, 4 or 5 years. And right on the front cover, it has a picture of me, and it says $1 billion book. This is my $1 billion book. So when I'm making decisions, and this isn't comparisonitis, this is modeling someone who's successful. But when I'm making decisions about where we want to go and what we want to do, I go, well, what would Oprah do? And I think like that, right? So you do want to be doing that. And it is hard to turn a blind eye to what other people are doing. But when you're living on purpose, with passion, and you're happy, this is the thing. I did a happiness formula program. 70% of people say they're unhappy. I mean, it's crazy, right?
Yeah.
But when you're not living that way, it can take you it can take you down and out. I mean, depression is also at an all-time high. Suicides are at an all-time high. We're passionate about supporting that and eradicating that. And I forgot what your question was. I'm totally going off on a tangent here, but you said, what did you say to me?
Well, I guess I was just saying how you lead by example that.
Oh, lead by, okay. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you for pulling it back. Yes. So all that I've done and have had success with up until this point has certainly been through a lot of hard work. I mean, a lot of hard work and a lot of mistakes or lessons. Let me call them lessons. So I've tried things and they didn't work. Tried it, didn't work. Tried it, didn't work. But that's, again, how you learn. So what successful people fail too. They fall and fail. They make mistakes. The difference is they don't wallow in it. They know how to cut their losses right away. When as soon as it's not working, you either modify it and make changes to it and then try it again, or you scrap it and move on.
Or like what we're doing now with pivoting.
Right. So right now with what's happening, and another thing, right, why I also want to do this group mastermind program, because I'm so busy with the TV show. We need to repivot the podcast, and I don't have time for private clients anymore. So what I did is I made decisions from where I want to go. Well, I can't be out selling every day, and I can't be coaching one-on-one anymore. So I'm going to create a group coaching program because I do love coaching and I get a lot of fulfillment out of that. Yeah. And I see the massive transformations with people. So I still want to do that. So I'm going to create this group mastermind program, and then I'm going to hire salespeople to fill it for me. So that's what we did. So I didn't worry about the money. I didn't worry about the logistics. I didn't do any of that. Just literally pivot. So, it remains to be seen. I feel like it's going to be really successful because it just, everything's clicking into place. But you got to be able to make decisions like that, because hiring people, and by the way, they're 100% commission salespeople. So it's not like it's costing me anything, and they're thrilled to be a part of a brand like this.
Right.
So
make this kind of impact with people too.
Right. So when you're authentic, when you're loving what you do and doing what you love, people will be drawn to you. They'll want to be around you. They just will. So again, let me reiterate the point. You don't want to be chasing the money or the fame. You want to be, you want to be chasing the dream of the fulfillment, right? So I have today, I see it as a $1 billion brand. I see it as being known as the media platform to help heal feelings of depression, anxiety, and suicidal thoughts, creating happier, more fulfilling people on this planet, women on this planet, so that they can live to their highest, greatest, fullest potential. In a broad stroke, that's what it is, right? And how am I doing it? I'm doing it through content and give back, right? Content and media. So those are the two platforms. So I have TV going right now. I want the podcasting network. I want films, a publishing company, live events, workshops, universities. There's a lot there that I want. Now, will all of that happen? Probably not. But you got to have that moonshot. So even Grant Cardone, if you know Grant Cardone is worth $1.5 billion, and he's all self-made. He's lost everything, made all of this. He says he's never hit his sales goal ever. He puts it out.
Yep.
So, but he gets darn close to it, right? Poor guy, $1.5 billion, right? his own plane, amazing. So, don't worry if you don't hit the goal. You've got to put it out far enough so that if you don't hit it, you still feel really good. But if you do hit it, wow, amazing, right? So think big, soar, don't crawl.
Love it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Any other closing thoughts you want to share?
Well, I would say if you like what I shared today, please follow me on, I know you're going to have links to everything, but,
yep.
Definitely check out my show on Mondays at 11 a.m. It's live on E360 TV, YouTube, and Facebook Live at I Have Today with Dian Forster. That is the name of the show, and that is the name of the Facebook page. And go there, because if I can help you, I do a Mentor Me Minute segment where I will take your questions and mentor you for 60 solid seconds, and really give you the most powerful thing that I have. So if there's something that you're thinking about and you have concerns with, tap into me live. And then, follow me on all the other social media at Dian Forster Official. Check out my website. But I'll say this, especially at this interesting time, we've been sequestered to go in, and even though, things are being lifted off in stages right now, things are definitely going to be a new normal. And there still will be a lot of isolation and time within to go inside. This is your chance to go inside and ask yourself those questions. Do my 10 Days to Your Passion and Purpose program so you can figure that out for you, what that is for you. And live each day to the fullest. Squeeze the juice out of your today, because it's all you're promised. It truly is. And we know this now, if it's never been more prevalent than right now, when has it ever been? And so be kind to yourself, love yourself unconditionally. And I know I'm throwing a lot, but I also have mantra meditations for you that help alleviate your mindset challenges. I do them privately for clients, but I have generic ones on YouTube where you can, manifest money, manifest love, manifest success, manifest happiness. Those are 4 of them there. So just use the resources. Do something, do things today, every day, that are motivational to you. The news, I worked in the television industry for a lot of years, and I never watched the news, ever. I know what it's there to do. It's supposed to inform you, but it's full of all negative news, and that gets into you on your subconscious level, and it messes you up. So choose how you use your time and take in content with discernment. Be very, very careful how you're doing that. So, okay.
All really good advice.
Thanks. Thank you. Yeah.
I feel grateful that we've been able to work together privately, and
yes.
I'm very fortunate to be one of those people. So I appreciate everything.
Well, I was so grateful to be on the journey with you, and I'm so proud of you, and I mean that in the kindest way, for what you're doing right now.
Well, you've helped me get here, so thank you.
Well, that was my honor, my privilege.
Well, thanks again, and look forward to seeing everything else that I Have Today coming up with.
Great. Well, thank you. Thanks so much, Amy, for having me.
Thank you.